If you're like me, and I think you are, you want to get down to the brass tacks, as we say. And the brass tacks are as such. Listen carefully. We have to stop abandoning Trump. This sounds like one of these lectures. You ever have maybe like your father or somebody say, she's your mother, or that's your Uncle Dave. We're family. You ever hear that? People say that? We're family. We're supposedly family. And somewhere along the line, I don't know how this happened. I'm not really sure how. I don't know where this came from, but we have lost our collective zeal. I'm going to call us Republicans for shorthand. I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent. I don't know what Republicans stand for, but just for the purposes of today. And if you're listening for the first time, I'm just for shorthand, Republicans, Democrats. That's it. And I'm going to have to tell you about our Trump. He's not perfect. He does some things. I could give you a list. I could go on forever in terms of what he does and what he has said and what he thinks and how he acts that I think in many respects are either insane, not based in fact, and that also goes for his cabinet. It goes for a lot of people. That being said, remember who he is. Remember what he means to us. Nothing, no chance of our success, no chance of ever having anything could ever exist without him. Why do Republicans dump on him? Why do Republicans infight? I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm going to say this with all due respect. When did Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens, when did they become a part of our political orbit? They're over here, fascinating, good people, interesting. They can't get a bill passed. They're not elected. They don't represent us. They are media, commentary, opinionistas, whatever you want to call these people. Put them over here. Fascinating subject. Marjorie Taylor Greene, fascinating. Now you're over here. You have eliminated, you're not in the offing anymore. Thank you very much for your service. Thank you. Thank you for everything you've done. We appreciate it. We're moving on now. We wish you the best. We hope nobody ever hurts you, harms you or your family. I think you're a good person. I think you really want to make things better. And we thank you. And you may have a number of I don't know, beefs or whatever you want to call it towards the president. And again, we say to you, we hope you work it out. We certainly can see your position, but, and listen to me, it is of no interest to us. What does this have to do with anything? I say this with all due respect. And remember, whenever somebody says all due respect, you know they're about to say something that hurts, because I'm going to say something with all due respect. I admire the Democrats so much for this one thing. I think you know what I'm going to say. They never turn on themselves. Never. Remember Reagan's 11th commandment, thou shalt not speak ill of a fellow Republican? Remember that one? I don't understand how this works. Maybe you can help me. Why do we, and I'll throw us in here, why do we attack each other constantly? Why? Remember, what brought Republicans to the fore, and this is critical, you've got to remember this. This is because we are devolving. And I'm going to say we again, in case you just tuned in. I'm not a Republican, but I'm sure as hell not a Democrat. And I'm going to vote straight Republican just because I have no choice but to do this. We are at war with an ideology, with a virus that has attacked the host. And the host is the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. A virus isn't even a living thing. A virus is basically DNA information. It's code. And it finds a host. It just jumps in and says, this'll do. It's like organized crime infected the Teamsters years ago or labor. It just found the host. Organized crime was the virus, but it converted something which was pretty much benign or anodyne, namely that of unions and labor. And that's what that is. So this group of people, these folks out here, these very frightening people, these very frightening people picked a group of people, and they picked the Democratic Party. And the Democratic Party really isn't involved in as much of the stuff that we are in. I'm telling you, they are not a bunch of socialists. They're most of them rank and file. They're really not. They don't know what a socialist is. They don't want to necessarily destroy the country, but by virtue of not doing anything, they're by default allowing this nonsense to happen. I want you to remember. I want to spend this day as we enter into Thanksgiving to be thankful for where we are, and I want you to say something. Donald Trump does things that will try your patience. I can go through things. You have no idea. I'm thinking, oh my God, he's all we have. I wish we would not. Let me say something. The Democrats do not have their Candace Owens. They don't put Joy Reid versus Rachel Maddow or whoever these people are. Never. They don't have a Ben Shapiro or a Mark Levin. They don't have the Israeli contingent. And I'm just using terms just for shorthand. They don't have the Marjorie Taylor Greene. They don't have the Nick Fuentes. They don't have the Groypers. They don't have the Tuckers. They don't have the all fighting against each other. Fox fires Tucker. This is where it all. And then you have the internecine battles within Fox, because you know who got Tucker really fired. Seriously, if you want to look, just look at people who were jealous of it. It's a long story. Anyway, but see what I'm doing? Even now I'm doing it. We don't care about this. We get into inside baseball. Who said this? Who said what? Let me ask you a question. Do you believe, strike that. Do you have any, two questions. One, do you have any doubts about Candace Owens' story where she has received, she mentioned a number of places, the gendarmerie, which uses the wrong term, doesn't matter, where there is some organized Franco-Israeli hit squad going after her? And do you believe, this is important, do you believe that this has any relevance to us? Do you think that maybe the FBI should say, we're on to this? We can't have an American citizen, any American citizen, certainly not her, a very prominent, very popular commentatrix, threaten, and her family? Okay, but let me just ask you this question. Is there something at all about this story? Something at all about this story? It doesn't set right with you. Is there anything with the Charlie Kirk story It doesn't set right with you. Is there anything about the Marjorie Taylor Greene story that doesn't set right with you? Why are we doing it this way? And the biggest question is, what does this have to do with midterms and 2028? So you got that? It's a very simple question. It's a very simple question. Now, first and foremost, you know this, I know this. If professional wrestling has taught us one thing, it's this. Everything is about getting your name out there. In the world of, I don't know what you want to call this, not is it online? Is it, I don't know what the word is. YouTube platforms, social media platforms. We live by a different world. We love controversy. And the only way you're going to really do well is if you do something that just gets the numbers. Numbers don't matter. Plus, minus, positive. Give me a click. Give me. Watch. Likes, watch. Numbers, time spent listening, time spent watching, time spent viewing, PCM. That's it. Everybody knows this. If somebody watches you because you're loved, if you're Mr. Beast, if you're trucker, it doesn't matter. Find your niche. But what we love, there's our good friend Mr. Ryan who says it's mostly outrage bait to lure clicks and drive Substack traffic. None of it is useful in winning midterms. I think that is correct, and I thank you for your kindness. Absolutely. But you have to ask yourself this question. Look, you do understand this, right? You do understand it. Is there anybody here who doesn't understand? And it's not, I'm not telling you anything that's not real. You got to get something that's new. The left doesn't really have that. I mean, they put it this way. Kathy Griffin, when she speaks, the left doesn't attack her. We attack her. If Bill Maher doesn't attack. I mean, they do it kind of. If you think Lawrence O'Donnell is attacking somebody, they don't do that. They're not in the attack game. We are. We will attack you from the way you look, the way you sound, the way you look. Did you gain any weight? Are you this? Do we think you're a man? It's incredible. I mean, it is. And we have the president who comes out, and he's like this song, Johnny Mercer, Days of Wine and Roses. Remember that one? Days of Wine and Roses is when Johnny Mercer was a terrible alcoholic, and he would go through these drunk moments, these drunk fests, and he would yell at people and have horrible things, tell terrible things to women or wives, and then the next day he would send roses. I'm sorry. That's Trump. Trump says these things. What he said about Marjorie Taylor Greene was just absolutely, she's a traitor. But then again, I'm thinking, Marjorie, what are you doing? What? None of it makes any sense. But then I stop myself saying, why am I talking about this? Who cares? I'm midterms in 2028. It's all I care about. But why am I doing this? I don't understand it. I would have, and maybe she did this, but I would have said, I want you to get a hold. I've got into the White House. I want you to get a word to the president, or the president. You know, the president talks to everybody. I know at least 20 people who talk to him all the time. Not me, but he's on the phone. This guy is the most hands-on. So for her to get a hold of him, it's very easy. I would have done, I think, but then again, I don't know. I'm not in the inner circle. I would have said, Mr. President, understand one thing. I'm not going to be running in January for a variety of reasons. They're threatening me, threatening my family, or I got the poll numbers, or I'm hearing you're going to primary me, or I just ran out of steam, or I've got a real interesting thing, a real interesting time in my life where I am looking at making a lot of money, and my agents are telling me that there's a real marketability for me. There's something really important right now. I could go out and I could do some great stuff right now. And I think it's okay. But I want you to know, Mr. President, I'm never going to say anything about you. Ever. Remember that. I'm not going to. And Epstein, I I don't know why I'm there. There's a way to say I want the Epstein files released. And as I've told you, you do know that the Epstein story is bullshit. All right. Just that's, I don't want to be, not cacographic, scatological. I don't want to be coprolalic on a beautiful Sunday morning. You know it's bullshit, right? You just nod. Just tell me it's not about sextortion. Was the least. What he did was terrible. Can you imagine? Do you know, as an aside, do you know the amount of sexual abuse that women during the Hitler regime, what from the SA to the Gestapo to you name it, do you know the amount of sexual abuse that women went through? It was, I mean, you can only imagine. If these guys are into genocide, okay, you do know that you don't ever hear about that. And you know why? Because the story that we know of, genocide and World War II is worse. This is almost a subsidiary issue. It's not like we're saying it's not important, but out of the entire realm, yes, you're right. There were also some subsidiary issues. If they don't care about wiping out an entire population, why would they care about the dignity of women? So, well, that's what Epstein is. What Epstein was responsible for, at the bottom rung of what he did, believe it or not, it was terrible. But this guy was involved in such, from arms dealing. I know people don't really get into the whole Adnan Khashoggi and he was the tip of the iceberg. If they ever spent enough time focusing on Epstein's financial crimes, we could destroy huge, if not the entire, but a huge portion of the shadow government. Absolutely. But they didn't do this. You understand that, right? You got that? So what Marjorie Taylor Greene's talking about, the Epstein files, is nothing. You're never going to find anything. This was a joke. This was a distraction. This kept you busy. The Department of Justice has this stuff. Pam Bondi has it. Nobody's interested. Stop it. So what I'm saying is, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I think, would have said, I'm not going to talk about you, Mr. President. I'm not going to walk away. I'm not going to ever hold this up. I'm not going to ever make you look bad. I need your help, and I'm really loyal. Okay, fine. But she didn't do it that way. Okay, fine. It's over with. It's over. We got to move on now. It's over. But what do we talk about? We glom on the pro-MTG group versus the pro-Trump group versus this group, all within our tent. And the Democrats are laughing. They're saying, look at these people. They can't get along with each other. They're always screaming at each other. We do this all the time. So that's it over here. That's Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene was terrific. I wish you well. Fine. Move on. I don't have time for Marjorie Taylor Greene. Whatever you want to do, it's okay. Quit, leave, whatever. I don't care. Doesn't matter. I would have handled it differently, both from the president's point of view and from yours. I don't think you should have handled it that way at all. And I think in retrospect, he feels betrayal. He's like a petulant child sometimes, but he's our petulant child. It's the way that is. He's over here. Look how much, it's kind of fun. Brings clicks. We love to talk about it because we don't betrayal. What does it mean? I don't know. We've got a deal with where the president could possibly avert and avoid nuclear war with Russia. Nobody's talking about that. We don't care about that. But Marjorie Taylor Greene, that's great because it's almost like a spat, a lover's quarrel. And we get to be mean. And there's so much of us that are, unfortunately, I'm sure, absolutely, but we love to be mean Because social media brings out the troll. What do you look like? So much time was spent on mocking Michelle Obama's looks. That's just like it's a cottage industry. I mean, it's okay, but do you ever feel like this is beneath us? I mean, okay, we had our fun, but how long are we going to keep doing this? We can talk about Michelle Obama's looks. You're not going to see her anymore. She's not going to. She has a podcast with her brother, whatever. Okay, fine. Stupid. Okay. It's kind of fun. Not to obsess over it. And then we have these other things, which I don't really understand. Candace Owens, I don't understand any of this. I don't understand any of this. None of it. I don't. I can't tell you what's real and what's real. So much of this story makes absolutely no sense. And I was interesting for a while, for about maybe 5 minutes. And then I'm saying, okay, let's move that out of the way. I wish you well. Nobody deserves, I don't want to see you or your family or anybody hurt. And just when you think you could say, you know, this doesn't make any sense to me. If I'm Macron, I'm going to say, I don't want anything to happen to her. Why? Because we're going to destroy her in court. No, 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 no. If anything happens to her, that vindicates her. Now, this is what I would think. I don't know where this is coming from. You're going to send an Israeli hit team for her? Do you know the people in the world? If you're Bibi Netanyahu and you have access to, what did they call them? There was a name for actual assassin teams. At the bottom of the list is Candace Owens. There are people in terms of heads of state, industrial leaders, people who really, she's not there. And if you're Macron, he goes, no, 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 no. Because what I'm trying to tell you is people think that her lawsuit with Macron is that she said Brigitte Macron's a man. There were like 19 complaints, 19 counts. That was just a couple of them. The others will take her across the goal line, basically accuse her of crimes. And now this time, there's more evidence of you're accusing me of assassination squad. Look, I wish her well. I don't know what's going on in her life. I don't know. I don't have time for this. She's very interesting. She's very thorough, very smart, very entertaining. But she's not a part of the Republican Party. Let me say this again. She is over here, along with Marjorie Taylor Greene, along with, Nick Fuentes. He's over here. Interesting. Groyper's over here. Tucker Carlson, fascinating. Over here. Non-political. Non-important. Not non-important, but interesting. Inside baseball, preseason. It's over here. Don't worry about that. Fascinating. Please talk about it all you want. It's interesting. It really is. But it's not important. Why do we all talk about this? I'll never know. Because I think it's that we enjoy the fight. Have you ever had somebody in your family who always picks a fight? Do you have somebody in your family who they're always like, he's doing it again, or she's doing it again? They hate when there's calm. They love fighting, and they love, what do we do? What are you doing here? Why are we doing this? What is the purpose of this? Why all of this fighting and yelling at? Why? That's what's interesting. That's what's fascinating. That's what's truly fascinating. I don't understand that. A little bit of history, which is important. In the late 60s, early 70s, the Southern strategy, you've heard me talk about this, it is historically noted. I'm not just saying this. But there were a number of people in the Republican Party who said, you know what? We need to go after those Democrats. The George Wallaces of the world, those were Dixiecrats. These were people feeling very abandoned by the Democratic Party. Very abandoned. Very. They didn't know. After the civil rights, he goes, what's going on here? Because the liberals, the Democrats, they won everything. Eventually, the war ended. Women's rights, civil rights. Okay. Republican Party came along. Strom Thurmond, Richard Nixon, and they said, come on into our side. How are we going on and getting people? How are we going on? What are we doing? We have to recruit more people. And recruit more people means getting along with people. How are we supposed to go to somebody and say, hey, listen, join us. We're the Republicans. Again, shorthand. Why? Well, you want to talk about Candace Owens, or which one do you want to talk about? Marjorie Taylor Greene? You want to make fun of Michelle Obama? How about Nick Fuentes? How about that? How about, have you seen this guy Milo? He's rearing his whatever. Okay, that's interesting. That's not political parties. We're going to lose. I know nobody wants to hear this. We're going to be crushed midterms. Everybody's saying it. Did you see what happened recently? And the not only are Republicans irrelevant many times, but they have this sense of superiority. Oh, no. I don't know whether Trump has that power anymore. I really don't. I mean, New York, Virginia, New Jersey, what's the story? What is happening here? In New York, Zoran Mamdani, all the people who said, we're going to leave, nobody's leaving. Real estate is booming. There's a place downtown from us, Hudson Yards, right there on the river. Real estate, it's exploding. Nobody's leaving. And all the people that just see all the foreclosures and I hate to say it, my native Tampa, because of the hurricane and everything, it's not what you think. It's not what you think. Nobody's leaving. Zoran Mamdani, they call him Mandani. They can't say, it's the weirdest thing. In any event, he met with the president. What did you think? What do you know? I don't know. Body language. Some people like him, some people don't. It doesn't matter. You know what the Democrats said? Nothing. They said, okay, you met with him. We, of course, will perseverate. Oh, cable news shows will hire dust off their usual body language expert. A fraud. Body language, complete bullshit. Oh, he sat like this and he went like this and he tugged at his chin. Stop it. Stop it. They've been doing this forever. It doesn't really matter. What did it mean? I don't know. But we talk about immediately trying to tear Trump down. He was a wimp. He did. I don't understand it. We are this dysfunctional group of people who always love to find fights. We love to make fun of people and argue with people, and we don't like this. Trump is our guy. And I don't know what's going to happen afterwards. And if it's J.D. Vance, great. But what do you know about you? I don't know. People, I think people like more of the way people look. You know what Kash Patel's biggest problem is? What do you think it is? He's got a big problem. And I'm surprised Trump didn't see through this. His looks. He always looks frightened. He's weird. He's got that girlfriend. I don't understand why Trump said, this isn't what you mean. Pam Bondi, love her to death. Her? Todd Blanche runs the show. Dan Bongino, where is he? I don't know. Elon, he's in, he's out. I don't know. Again, I'm not really sure. Is Alina Habba, is she the U.S. attorney for Jersey? I guess. Somebody's threatening her. What's going on? I don't know. He picks people sometimes that he likes, maybe their looks, maybe he likes stardom, maybe, I don't know. God bless him, but I would have picked somebody else. But he's my president. I'm stuck with it. What am I going to argue about? I think somebody should maybe tone down. You know, it is weird when you've got, going back, this is very strange, going back to Candace Owens. Mr. President, you have a Republican lightning rod, very popular, who is being threatened with assassination by France and Israel. If you read to them, would you like to at least say something? No. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? Do you think in the 70s, if France and Israel had put a hit on Johnny Carson, you think you would have heard about it? Oh, yeah. Walter Cronkite? Oh, yeah. You know, Johnny Carson had had that hit put on him ostensibly by Joe Colombo, because Johnny Carson was a bad drunk, bad drunk, and he would, you know, say a lot of things and whatever. Anyway, that was under the headline. But don't you think that odd? And you notice how it caught. Have you noticed this? So I'm asking myself, what are we talking about here? And I bring this up to show you that before you get all upset about the story, ask yourself, is this the reaction from the president regarding somebody who's that? The story that will, if anything, my number one criticism, which thank God nobody understands, the administration, the government, and the world has sold out to big tech. I don't ever want to hear anybody talk about Israel, Jonathan Pollard, AIPAC. That's nothing compared to big tech. Nothing. What AI is going to do is going to blow, to even calling it AI is like, that's like, do you call fentanyl drugs? Do you say that's a drug problem with fentanyl? Do you say that? Fentanyl's in its own category. Do you call AIDS STDs or VD? Oh no, AIDS is a different story. This is bigger than anything you can imagine. And it's deliberately being kept quiet, kept down by things like MTG, Candace, to an extent, the usual stuff. That's the issue. This administration, the government, and governments have just said, here's an auto pen. They've given an auto pen to big tech and say, here, do whatever you want. And it has no resonance whatsoever. It's like at a frequency that humans can't hear. It's the biggest issue, existential, bar none. Nobody's talking about it. Okay, that's over here. What are you going to do? I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I've tried. Mrs. Ellis tried. But people don't get into it. It's not that thing. They just, it doesn't do anything. Okay, fine. What are you going to do? I'm not going to force people into paying attention to that. We're looking at, and let me tell you who's been spot on about this. Spot on. Alex Jones. Alex Jones has been talking about providing a warning series for you and others regarding potential civil wars that are happening. Civil war. The likes of which you can't even imagine. Civil war. A reconfiguration of order, the likes of which you cannot imagine or believe. Civil war. The Podesta plan, the others, it's all there. This past week when the Democrats were getting upset and saying, you're threatening to hang me with sedition, they are telling you this is what we should be talking about. And what are we talking about? We, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes. I don't know. The usual stuff. Did you see this? Trump's the only guy we have. And I don't know if anybody's even getting to him. Jared Kushner owns him regarding the Middle East. You can write that one goodbye. Not that's if that's something. I was listening to Max Blumenthal, Aaron Mate, very good. Guys, give it up. I don't know what you're talking about. Give it up. I don't know what you're You know the whole Jonathan Pollard thing last week. Oh, they were going crazy about this thing. I love him. Douglas McGregor, love him. It's over. What are you talking about? Okay, you're right. Some people like to. I hate to keep beating a dead horse, but the thing I want to say is we need Trump to be in power. We need midterms. We can't lose it. Marjorie Taylor Greene leaves a kind of a precarious situation. Why are you doing this? We need numbers. Once whoever leaves, who steps down, unless there's something really scary coming. Lauren Boebert, Mace, Luna. Remember the NWA Luna? I think Luna wasn't Vivian Vachon? Wasn't that Luna? One of the Vachon girls. In any event, that is a different story. Nobody leaves this. You make a fortune, so you go there. And your power is only when you're a congressperson. Once you leave, it doesn't matter. There's something going on there. Okay, fine. What I care about is how does that affect the numbers? We owe it to this president to stick behind him. And he makes it difficult. And we have to do something for ourselves. We have to ask ourselves, why do we tear each other apart? Why? I don't want to do a Rodney King here, but why can't we all just get along? I'm dead serious. This is serious. I'm not doing, yeah, you want numbers and everything. Yeah, it's fun. But I can't come out here and say something that I think is just bullshit just because I think, oh, that's going to get a lot of numbers. There's something I just don't believe in it. Or what I do believe in vehemently, I don't think a lot of people find interesting. AI. AI is it. There is nothing. It's like cancer, AIDS, COPD, tinnitus, everything rolled up into one. It's everything. It is the most frightening thing, bar none. I don't get it. I don't understand I don't understand why people don't seem to get it. But I'm not going to argue the point. Got to move along. Got it just the way it is. The Epstein case was one of the most fantastic stories ever that nobody cared about. Yesterday was the 62nd anniversary of the worst of a hit. They shot the president down like a dog in the street. Did anybody say anything yesterday? I did. My good friend Roger Stone did. Isn't that something? That is ground zero of conspiracy theories. Nobody, even the Kennedys, very sad about Schlossberg. Who was it? Tatiana Schlossberg with his terminal cancer. Horrible. Boy, they're dumping on Bobby Kennedy. I don't know what Bobby Kennedy's about. I have no idea. A young woman like that with kids or like a child with the stage 4 is terrible. Now, some people say immediately, was she vaxxed? It's like, I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can say, well, the reason for that is obviously because of vaccination. I think we're kind of past that. I hope we are. But what I'm so befuddled about is a very, very simple thing. It's fun. I want to talk about things that are just this stuff which interests me, which nobody cares about. AI, number one. Geoengineering. because you can see it right there. You can see it. There's no. It's so easy. You don't even have to read anything. Just look up. See it? Even that doesn't get mad. The dimming. New stories about the dimming. UFOs. UFOs. The subject for the longest time has been considered. You're crazy. You're stupid. You're a lunatic. You're like, that Michael Shermer, the skeptics. The skeptics. They're almost like they're an inside. They're beyond gatekeepers. Their whole thing is to say, that doesn't matter. That's bullshit. You want me to believe in saints and God and the power of prayer and evil? And what evidence of that is there? Well, you might think a lot. I say not. There is more evidence of extraterrestrial life that has landed here beyond anything you can imagine. Beyond anything. Remember, you've never seen an electron either. And there's these little anecdotes. This amuse bouche. They throw this out. They throw these, eke out these little snippets, these little morsels here and there. George Herbert Walker Bush was involved in it. Trump might reveal information. Not going to reveal anything. Jackie Gleason was absolutely touched by this, crazy about UFOs. It is one of the most fascinating subjects to think that we have another life form that could walk in. Imagine the idea of looking at somebody, doesn't look like you, you see, you normally have this kind of dual-sided, it's not like, it's like two hands, not three hands. 5 fingers are big. 5 fingers. In the animal kingdom, there may be something universally. Why 6 polydactyly doesn't make any sense, but whether the head's bigger or larger, what particular phrase, just imagine what if there was what if there were people 1 million years older than we were? 1 million years. And this should make people absolutely insane with interest, and there's no interest in it. So that fascinates me beyond the actual 9/11. Oh my God. Oh. All of the stuff which is fascinating. And remember, you can always tell when something's interesting is when they tell you you're crazy. There's a whole lot of folks out there still talking about that moon business. And why shouldn't I? Who decides for you what stories aren't interesting? Who decides? Who tells you, no, that doesn't matter? That doesn't matter. That's crazy. No, I decide what's crazy. Sex trafficking, child, you cannot believe what's happening with it. Nobody's talking about that. But instead, we're talking, again, please, if it's interesting, Candace Owens, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Nick Fuente. Interesting, but not captivating. Imagine meeting God, and God tells you, you don't have any interest in whether there is anybody else in this vast universe. You seem not to care. It's this hubristic quality of who we are. We don't need anybody. We don't care if there's somebody there. It doesn't matter. Why? Because we're it. We're the best thing in the world. No, you're not. Not even close. We're going to be destroyed by when social media, when AI hits singularity, it's over with. It's done. We are so finished. It's not even funny. You hear what I'm saying? We are so finished. It's done. It's done. Done. Remember when disco died? I don't know what day it was, but all of the bands, all of the strings, and Mrs. L was big into music. She'd book musical acts and part of her showbiz background. And strings and cellos, not anymore. synthesizers, prog rock, that came along. That changed everything. Absolutely changed everything. And it was one of those things which is very interesting as well, because fascinatingly, or at least what I think is fascinating, is the idea that there was this, let me get rid of this here. There were these people who came along and they said, you know what, we just don't need this anymore. We're just gonna get rid of it. Okay. And anyway, that was it. So what happens when AI destroys music? What's going to happen then? I'll leave you at that. Just be nice. Be nice to each other. Be nice. Ask yourself, why is it that we're mocking everybody all the time? Ask yourself, who's gonna keep going? I think I'm jamming up here. Sometimes my machine gets all clogged. That's not it. Sometimes it gets all clogged up. And let me see what's else. Close some things down. I like to go to my activity monitor, which is very good. Remember, I'm a one-man show here. And this is what I do. I'm a one-man show. So I look at here and I try to figure out what I can close down. And, life's like that. If we can just close down things. In any event, thank you so much. To our lone benefactor today, Ryan, thank you so much, my friend. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your support. We always appreciate your support. Remember, this is it. I'm just it. Mrs. L and me, that's it. You're looking at it. We're it. No producers. We do everything. Thumbnails, everything. 2 people. And it shows. Don't get me wrong. I'm not exactly acting like, I bet you're surprised. Of course it is. But the way it is. So whenever you throw support our way, we appreciate it. Because in order for people, remember something, in order for there to be more people out there who are going to be spending more time on their own, speaking to you, you as a benefactor of the arts are responsible for producing these new people. The government doesn't pay us. There's no big corporation. Nobody wants us. In fact, do you think, do you honestly believe that you could say Candace or Nick or Tucker or whatever, you think anybody would ever support them? No. Are you kidding me? Being supported by big, by these groups is almost a tacit acknowledgement that you're, excuse me, that you're part of the enemy. So it's going to be depending upon individuals supporting it. We're going to do it. Everything's going to be a paywall. You see what Barry Weiss is doing to CBS, and I love it. I wasn't a big fan of hers, but I love what she's doing. She's destroying this. CBS is right down the street. It's on 57th Street. This whole block. It's huge. It's huge. Then there was BlackRock, and then there was this. It's all gone. They're going to just sell it all. It's done. Look what's happening to the BBC. It's incredible. This is it. We have more power. We have more power than you could ever imagine. They don't realize it. It may seem to somebody like, well, here's this guy. He's sitting there. He's in this little computer. Oh, no. More people hear us than you can imagine. And we have more people. And here's the thing. I love to be that guy. Remember this fellow on Fox News? It showed you how magic tricks were done. It's like, let me show you how this. Saw a lady in half. No, her legs are full. See that? That's what I want to do. I want to point out. Let me show you how they're doing it. I'm going to point out the work, like to use wrestling terms. It's a work. It's kayfabe. No, that's not it. That's not it, or that's a distraction, or that's unimportant. That's what I want to do. Because sometimes you're so inundated by all this stuff. You don't know, well, what's important and what's not. I mean, it might be fun. It's like going to a rodizio or a churrascaria. When you walk into those Brazilian steakhouses, you go to the salad bar first and you fill up on that, and they don't have to bring the good stuff out. No, I want you to fill up on the good stuff. because of the good stuff, they're not even talking about it, and they're keeping it from you. And as soon as we destroy mainstream media and there is no buffer anymore, and then everything is like raw, that's a different story. You'll be able to see it unfiltered, unedited, unexpurgated, and unaffected. Please follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. We need your subscription. She's under some kind of I don't know what it is. Every now and then they will you'll be hit with these. It's like, what are we doing? Why are these numbers purging? What is happening? We don't know. We don't understand. They never tell you, here's what's going on. I don't know. And you're just at a kind of did you see an X where they are going and you're able to see where people are coming from? There was an Ivanka Trump X account from Nigeria. These people aren't even. That's funny. Elon Musk, with all that he supports, supposedly isn't, what he still is pretty doggone good. Also, my friends, remember, sign up for the newsletter. Go to Lionel.news. Did you know that? Lionel.news. Lionel.news. Is that great or what? Lionel.news. That is the website, so to speak. Sign up for the newsletter. Get all the other jazz if you're listening for the first time. Newsletters coming up. Also, there is a private channel, paid channel. I can say whatever I want. I got to remind myself. I can say whatever I want. And the stuff I want to say, I don't curse that's not, but it's the subject matter. It's the subject matter and the perseveration that I find so wonderfully refreshing. So that's a daily offering. So sign up for that as well. In any event, you have a great day. Remember. This coming Thanksgiving is coming up right around the corner. We'll have a truncated week. Also follow me every weeknights on WABC, 77 WABC, New York City. You can get the app. You can go to WABCradio.com, sign up, hear it live. It's overnight. It's in the land of Art Bell. We talk about it. It's wild, syndicated. It's another world. It's like going on and seeing all these nocturnal animals that are there that you never knew, or going deep below sea level and finding critters that you never thought were there, but whose looks are frightening. Those are the people who come out at night. They're frightening. All right, my friends, we love you madly. Have a great and a glorious day. Don't forget, until we speak again, make sure you're subscribed to Lionel Nation. Subscribe right now. Make sure you're still subscribed, because people are being unsubscribed for reasons I have no idea. But whenever I do a live one, I want you to know. In any event, have a great day. Don't forget, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you.